Hey guys, it's Sunday, so it's time for a new video. Today it's not a flight attendant vlog, it's more like an informative video, or basically it's my opinion. You probably read the title. I withheld from talking about coronavirus for a long time because I didn't want to like make anyone panic or anything, you know, and I just wanted to wait to get the facts straight before voicing my opinion. But now I see the time fit to actually speak about it, and I just want to mention beforehand, I'm not a doctor. Everything I'm going to mention is my own opinion. I talked to a lot of other flight attendants to get their opinions in order to actually talk to you guys about how flight attendants feel about coronavirus and everything going on, whether we're scared, what we think about it, if we lose our jobs, all of that kind of stuff. And what I also wanted to mention is all of those opinions are my own opinions, and they don't necessarily match the opinions of my employer, and they have nothing to do with my airline or anything like that. So let's get right into it. I'm sure all of you have heard about coronavirus by now. A lot of infections worldwide, many deaths worldwide, a lot of panic going on worldwide. And I mean, the situation like it is right now, I would have never imagined that anything like that could happen in today's economy, society, all of that. And I personally, I live in Europe, I live in Austria, I work in Germany. So I do get everything like firsthand that's happening over here in Europe. So I can't speak about what's happening in like China or the US or anything at the moment, just from what I've heard from the news. And as you guys all know, you have to take all of that with a grain of salt, but I can definitely speak for Central Europe and this region and how things are here and what my perspective is of the current situation. So let's just start. Am I scared of catching coronavirus and getting sick? Actually, I'm not scared of that. I'm not part of any of the risk groups, so I'm not over the age of like 60. I don't have any diseases like diabetes, heart disease, any of that. And I'm generally very healthy. I eat very healthy most of the time. I eat a lot of crap too, so but I try to eat healthy. Let's say I eat healthier than many people. I have been told by a doctor a while ago that my immune system is really good. I have never gotten sick in almost 4 years of flying. I mean, I've gotten a cold before, but that was usually when I was on vacation and not when I was actually working. But other than a cold, I don't think I've had any sort of sickness in the recent years. I mean, there was a phase last year, but that was not really being sick like that. That had more to do with like personal issues. But other than that, like I said, I'm not part of any of the risk groups. So I'm not scared of getting sick because of coronavirus. What I'm scared of though is of spreading it to people who are not as fortunate as me and who are part of a risk group and therefore are at higher risk of developing serious symptoms or death. So that's what I'm scared of. What I'm also scared of is the panic that's happening worldwide. I've talked to friends in different countries. Apparently it's the same, whether it's in Austria, in Germany, in Switzerland, in the US. People bulk buy everything. I'm just wondering, what are people gonna do with all of that toilet paper? And did everyone not wash their hands before? Because soap seems to be out of stock everywhere. Toilet paper is out of stock. I'm like, didn't you wash your hands before? That's just gross. So I don't see a reason to bulk buy. All the supermarkets here have said that they have stocks for several months. So if something's out of stock at the store over here in Austria, for instance, it's not because they don't have it anymore. It's because the people working in the store don't have the time to put the stock back into the racks because people are just going crazy in the stores. I kind of wanted some fresh vegetables and fruit for the weekend, but I decided not to go to the supermarket because I knew things were gonna be crazy, and I didn't want to deal with that. What I'm also afraid is people, so there are two fractions of people, I feel like. So the ones that say the panic is for nothing, let's live our lives the way we did before, let's just go outside, let's party, let's do everything. That's something I'm scared of. And then there's another fraction, that's the fraction that's going nuts, basically. So that's the fraction that's saying, oh my gosh, we're all gonna die. No, we're not all gonna die. Just saying. So I talked to many fellow flight attendants and most of them feel the same way. There are some that are afraid of catching coronavirus because they are afraid that they will develop serious symptoms, but most of them are just afraid of catching disease and then spreading it. Because even if you don't show any symptoms, or if you show very light symptoms like the regular cold or something, you can still spread it to a lot of people. And what scientists said as of now, so this can always change, but the current information that I researched this morning was that people usually spread coronavirus to at least 3 other people, and that's the problem. That's the problem. And over here in Europe, they have taken serious measures. I mean, I'm sure you all have heard about Italy. So Italy is basically in a lockdown, and they have over 20,000 coronavirus infections at the moment. They have a huge amount of deaths. They have more than 1,400 deaths, I think was the number this morning. And that's just, you guys can see the big picture, right? And so that's the problem. So I feel like coronavirus, a lot of people say it's like the regular flu. It's not. I mean, for most people it is like the regular flu, but then the people that develop serious symptoms and complications, for them it's way more than a regular flu, and it spreads so much faster. So the regular flu is usually spread to 1 or 2 other people per person. So this, like the coronavirus, is spread to like 3 to 4 people. So with that, you guys can see it spreads so much more quickly, and that's the thing why people are taking these measures, are staying inside. Because if it spreads at such a rate, then the problem is that our medical system could collapse, and that's the thing. So if hospitals can't take on any new patients, that's when the death rate goes up. And that's what we're trying to do. So there's this hashtag that I've seen on Instagram a lot lately. It's called Flatten the curve. So what that means is, if everyone lives their lives the way they're living it right now, then the virus is gonna spread really quickly. So you'll get a curve like this, if that makes sense. Now, if we stay inside and we limit our social contacts, we limit how many people we see, we limit how often we go outside, we limit going to the cinema, to the shopping center and all of that, then it'll take longer for the virus to infect people. So the numbers will probably drop a little bit, so there won't be as many infections in total, but even if there are, it'll just give us time. So the first people will be cured by the time that the next people get the disease, which means the curve will go more like this. It'll take longer, obviously, so coronavirus will be around for longer if we flatten that curve, but it will help our medical system, our hospitals, so much, because they'll actually have the capacity to take on new patients. And that's what we're trying to do, and that's why it's so important to not be risky and go to parties and live like there'll be no tomorrow. And I feel like a lot of people don't get that at the moment. In the beginning, I saw things differently too. In the beginning, I was like, all of that panic, it's just nonsense. Well, I'm not panicking. I'm not panicking at all. I'm not saying that I'm not gonna go outside anymore. But what I'm saying is I'm trying to stay inside. I'm actually on my annual leave right now. I'm so glad that I went to the Dominican Republic on vacation before the whole corona situation got really bad over here. And I mean, I'm still on vacation for like 2 more weeks at the moment. Honestly, I wanted to go on a couple of trips. I wanted to visit friends all over Austria and stuff. That's not gonna happen, and that's okay. I'll deal with that. If I can help others and if I can help with this situation at the moment, then I'll do my part and stay indoors as much as I can, or in front of my apartment. Like we have a park outside there, so I mean, if there are no people around, it's not that bad to be outside. But what I'm saying is, yeah, things don't always go the way we want them to. Honestly, a lot of flight attendants are fearing for their jobs at the moment, because every single day there are new restrictions on which countries we can enter and which countries we can't enter. And yeah, it is a risk, definitely. I personally am not scared of losing my job at this time, because I do work for a pretty big airline and they have been doing very well in the past years. And also the system over here that the country will help with funds and stuff is pretty good. But I know it's different for other airlines. I know airlines that have been struggling before the whole coronavirus crisis. I also know that there are other countries that don't have the same laws and funds and all of that. And because of that, it is a very real thing that people will lose their jobs. For my company, I know that they're trying to hold on to everyone at the moment, and I'm very grateful to be working for this airline, honestly. I feel like they've been dealing well with it. I mean, for me personally, it means that I won't be a purser by June, so I was actually scheduled to go to training in April, to purser training. I was scheduled to be a purser by June 1st. That's not gonna happen. They still say the training is going to happen, and I wish it will be true. I don't know at this moment, but honestly, I'm not really like making myself more excited about training at the moment, because I'm not sure if it will happen. Because at the moment, I'm not even sure if I'll be able to leave Austria in 2 weeks' time, because yeah, I mean, Italy is under lockdown right now. Austria has actually increased their measures against fighting the coronavirus infections. So as of tomorrow, restaurants will be open until 3 p.m. only. After 3 p.m. every restaurant has to close. All stores will be closed. Supermarkets, banks, pharmacies, all of that will still be open, obviously, but like clothing stores, sports goods stores, all of that will be closed. And starting on Tuesday, I've just read the news like half an hour ago, they'll be closing all bars and restaurants completely. So schools are basically closed. Elementary schools and junior high, they're open, so you can send your kids there, and also to kindergarten, but you're not supposed to. So in case you don't have anyone watching your kids, you can still send them there. And I know for outside of this region, it might seem very drastic, but they're really working on not getting into the same mess Italy is in right now. And they have a couple of counties under lockdown. So especially in the Tyrolean area, there are some counties that you can't get in or out of. And all of the hotels in Salzburg, and I think Tyrol as well, will be closed by tonight. So there are no hotels open. I think those measures are not gonna be noticeable at the moment, because the time from when you catch coronavirus until you show symptoms, the duration can be up to 14 days. So I feel like we'll probably see results in 1 or 2 weeks. But like I said, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, but that's just what I have read in several articles. So I'm not just basing my opinions on like one single article. So what can you do so that you do not catch coronavirus, or that you are at a lower risk to catch disease? Well, limit your social contacts. Don't go out partying. Don't meet too many friends. If you meet people, don't shake their hands. Don't hug. Just try to stay away from people. I'm not saying you shouldn't talk to anyone or anything, but you can also call your friends on the phone. And I mean, what are a couple of weeks of somewhat isolation if you can therefore go out again like you used to sooner, right? So that's what we're trying to do. And also make sure that you stick to proper hygiene. Wash your hands with soap for at least 20 to 30 seconds. So it's not gonna do any good if you wash your hands for like 2 seconds. Use that soap. What I've heard is that a lot of people steal disinfectant and face mask and all of that. The current information is that face masks don't necessarily help against coronavirus, because those little virus particles are so small they can go through face masks sometimes. But what they're good for is if you feel sick, wear a face mask, because you limit the little virus thingies that go outside if you sneeze or cough, because you're spreading everything. So, you know, when you sneeze, all of those particles, they like spread like splash. And that's what you're trying to limit. Think of others that might need disinfectant and face masks because they have cancer or some other disease and they need it, or medical stuff. Because what I've heard here is that there might be a shortage because people are actually stealing that stuff out of ambulances and stuff. Which I feel like is crazy. Like, why would people do that? Also, soap and water are good against the virus if you wash your hands long enough. You don't really need disinfectant all the time. Disinfectant is meant for times when there is no way to wash your hands. If you use some like sterilium or something on your hands all the time, you're gonna kill all of the good bacteria too. You're gonna dry out your hands, especially if you use disinfectant substances right after washing your hands, because your hands are not gonna be dry. Skin barrier, if it's damp, it'll be more likely to have alcohol enter into it. So the base for all of those disinfectants is alcohol, and that will dry out your hands and it'll leave you with cracked skin and it won't do any good. So if you wash your hands, well, that's perfectly fine. If you cough or sneeze, don't do so in public just like that. Just like use your elbow and like sneeze like this or something. Don't sneeze or cough into your hands. Don't touch your mouth, your nose, or your eyes, because you can catch coronavirus via those 3 areas of your face. And just stay away from sick people, obviously. I think that's most of what I have to say. I could talk for hours, honestly, but I don't want to bore you guys. And I hope this gave you a little perspective over how things are over here. By the way, we're not under lockdown here in Salzburg. There were very few cases of coronavirus here in Salzburg. I feel like people are taking it somewhat seriously. There are people outside, yes. There are still people going to friends' houses and stuff. But basically, people are taking it seriously. And if they're not, I mean, they're probably gonna increase the measures. So in Italy, they can't go outside unless they have to go to work, or unless they have to do shopping, like grocery shopping or something, or if they have to buy medication at the drugstore. But other than that, they can't really go outside. And I feel like that's probably gonna happen over here too, but that's no reason to panic, because I'd rather live a few weeks at my house and not go outside than risk so many others. Because we're dealing with people's lives, guys. Please keep that in mind. Keep your parents, your grandparents, your friends who might be within the risk group, all of that. Keep them in mind. That's what we're doing all of this for. And in my opinion, it's worth to not have a social life for a while if you can save society. So that's my 2 cents for today. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know if you have any more tips. Like I said, those are my personal opinions. That's what I have researched. Things might change very soon. There's new information coming in every second. So maybe what I'm saying today will be in the past tomorrow, who knows? But I think we'll survive this. I think we'll get through all of this. Obviously, the economy will take a long time to get back to where it was before coronavirus happened. But we need to stick together. All of us need to stick together, and we need to pull on one string to get over this coronavirus crisis. Don't panic. If you panic, that's not gonna help anyone. So try to not panic, stay calm, do your sports at home, eat your greens, eat healthy, and just be considerate of others. That's all I'm trying to say. United by wings, right? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye-bye.